discovered that, number one, real estate has created more wealth than any other industry and any other asset class in the history of planet Earth. So my wheels about real estate started turning a little faster, and my intrigue grew. Anyway, so I break that down to you to say, you got to decide where your affinity is, what you like to do, what you enjoy doing, but that also has the possibility of giving you that unlimited income. So when this person said to me, $1 million a year is what I want to earn, the first question you got to ask yourself is, am I in a place where $1 million a year is feasible in 5 years? Is it doable? Okay, so a lot of you who watch this show are real estate professionals, so we know it's doable in the real estate world. I could point out 20 real estate agents who make over $1 million a year that I got right here in this phone right here. I could call 5 of them right now. It totally is doable, is the point. So if it's totally doable, then that's step one. Can I get there from here? So a real estate agent or a mortgage broker could definitely get to $1 million a year from here. So the first question you just asked yourself is, can I get there from here? If you're a real estate agent, if you're a mortgage professional, if you own your own business that has that possibility, then the answer is yes. If you are a librarian working for the Los Angeles Public Library, the answer is no. So then you have to evaluate, how do I make an adjustment so that I can put myself in a position so that I can grow to $1 million a year in 5 years? Does that make sense? Because, see, I think some people are unrealistic when they say, I want to be a millionaire or I want to earn $1 million, but they work at the public library. So what do you want? You want to hit the lotto? I told you about the lotto, right? It's 1 in 13,687,000 that you're going to hit the lottery. So you save the dollar and invest in your education or something. Go buy a book instead, because they say that you got a better chance of getting struck by lightning twice rather than win the lottery. So you're going to get struck by lightning before you win the lottery. So forget that. Toss that out. Let's put yourself in a position where the income you want is even possible. And a lot of people have trouble thinking 5 years out because, you got issues today. You got problems today. But let me tell you this. Nothing about success is instant. So get the instant thing out of your head and start thinking bigger. So the first goal is, what do I want my life to look like in 5 years? All right? Now, so you put down your income goal, but don't just stop at income. So this person said $1 million a year. I said, okay, we can get there from here. I got no problem with that. Now let's talk about your health and fitness. Hello? Is that important? What is my health and fitness like? What do I weigh? For this person, it's like, I want to weigh 175 pounds instead of 221. Okay, 175 pounds. All right, so you write that down. That's how I want to look when I'm earning $1 million a year. I want to weigh 175 pounds. I want to be lean. I want to be, and then we add to that. I want to be athletic. I want to be able to work out every day because they're not working out right now. They want to be athletic. They want to be lean. They want to be fit. They want to be athletic. They want to look their best, and they want to earn $1 million a year. Okay, that's beautiful. And then I said, okay, now how about family and family? Well, like how do you want your family to be? Well, I want all my kids to be in college. This is what they're saying to me. This is my case study, one of my coaching clients. All kids are in college or have graduated college because they're right in the high school age right now, and to be on their way to their own good career. Okay, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Now you've made a goal related to family. All right, so finances, health and fitness, and family. All right, and then I say, look, nothing we're doing is worth planning for if you don't give yourself the rewards. So I said, give me the fun category. What is it you'll be doing for fun 5 years out? Okay, and they said, well, I want to take 3 major vacations a year by then, and I want to be able to do that and take take a week at a time, but 3 different times a year, and go on an all expense, no holds barred, just live it up vacation 3 times a year. Okay, outstanding. Can you get there from here? Absolutely, yes, you can. Okay, so we talked about finances, we talked about health and fitness, we talked about family, and we talked about fun. I think those are like the main categories that you should address every time you set your goals. So in the 5-year department, let's hit all those now. And look, go ahead and be aggressive. Remember, my friend got to $250 million in 7 short years. You can have all these things. Don't be shy. Don't be scared. If your goal is more than $1 million a year, if your goal is more than a $1 million net worth, write it down. Don't be scared. You say 10 million. A lot of people feel guilty. It's like, man, people are gonna think I'm crazy if I say 10 million. Or like a lot of times I lead these vision board parties, and I say, like, what do you really, really want? And somebody says, well, I put down $500,000. I go, but is that what you really, really, really want? They're like, well, I really want $5 million, but I didn't want anybody to think I was kind of crazy. It's not crazy. It's not crazy. I just told you about a guy who got to $240 million in just 7 years. You don't think you can get to 10 million in 5? Absolutely, you can. So be aggressive. Run with it. This is have fun with this, okay? So don't be shy. Next, you take the 5-year goals and you hit all those categories, and then I want you to do it again for your 3-year goals. Now, clearly, your 3-year goals are going to be a little less ambitious than your 5-year goals, right? But do your 3-year goals next. And same categories. I want you to do your financial. I want you to do your health and fitness. And I want you to do your family and loved ones. You don't have to be related to them, but friends and family. And then I want you to address your fun. And that could involve your friends and family. Usually it does. But I want you to address each of those because I want you to imagine, picture, then write down what that looks like and be specific. Dream in color. It's very, very important that you dream in color. And so like, for instance, if you want like your fitness, you don't want to just say, I want to be in shape. You want to say, hey, I want to weigh 175 pounds. I want to have 12% body fat. I want to, get specific. Don't just be like, hey, I want to be in good shape. Get specific. Dream in color. Don't just say, hey, I want to have fun with my friends and family. Say, no, I want to take my kids to the Caribbean in the summer, and I want to take them to Europe in the winter. And the places I want to go in Europe are Paris, England, and Germany. I mean, get as specific as you like, and there are no rules otherwise. You can have it all. It's all available to you. And if you put that in your subconscious, you write this down, you dream in color, guess what happens? You don't even believe me when I tell you this, but your brain will start going to work on these things. Your brain will start helping you figure out the pathway to get you to these things while you sleep. It's amazing how it works. So I want you to do it in color. If your goal in 3 years is to drive a Lamborghini, what color Lamborghini? You got to get real about it. I want a white Lamborghini with the black spiderweb seats. That's what's up. Dream in color. And then we're going to take this to another level because you're going to do a vision board that's going to help you visualize this stuff. But anyway, so 3-year goals, I want you to do your financial, your fitness, your family, and your fun. Now, step 3. Break those goals down to your 1-year goal. Okay, so 1 year from now. So if in 5 years I'm making $1 million a year, in 1 year, how much am I making? Get real with this. Be realistic with this. In 1 year, if you're gonna look, right now, you know we're close to making your $1 million a year, right? So is it realistic for you to go from $80,000 this year to $1 million next? It might be for some people, but for most people, success doesn't happen like that. It's incremental. So if you currently make $75,000 a year and your goal in year 5 is to be making $1 million a year consistently, then maybe it's a little more realistic for you to say, in 1 year, I will have made $250,000, right? Because again, the first thing you're gonna ask yourself after you say this thing, so let's say 1 year, if your goal is to be $1 million a year earner in 5, then next year, you ought to hit the 250 mark. And then I say you were well on your way to that $1 million goal, right? It's kind of not realistic. Very few people go from 0 to $1 million a year. Those are kind of exceptions to the rule. What I find is that most success happens in increments. So you put the thing in place or put yourself in the position so that $1 million is possible. Well, in year 1 of this intentional stuff, you make $250,000. And then in year 2, this is how the trajectory of my coaching students has gone. In year 1, you make $250,000. In year 2, you get to $350,000 or $400,000. In year 3, you see this big jump and you go to $550,000 or $600,000. And then in year 4, you find leverage and you find opportunities to get you do exponential growth. And by year 4, so 250, 350, 600, you hit 750 in year 4. And by the end of year 4, you got this thing wired, and $1 million in year 5 is totally doable. That's really the more realistic path to the kind of money we all dream about. I'm just giving you a dose of how this can happen step by step, incrementally, not overnight. And you know what else it helps you out when you think about it like this, so that you don't think to yourself, $1 million is so far from where I am now, I'll never get there, and then people give up. When people find it too ambitious in too short a period of time, then it becomes unrealistic to them, and that's when people give up on their goals. So what really happens, what happened, my buddy who sold his company for $250 million, he didn't make $10 million the first year. He barely made anything the first year, but he built up the momentum, and in year 2, they made $500,000. In year 3, they were able to scale that, and they were making $2.5 to $3 million. In year 4, they made this massive jump, and were making $15 million. And then in year 5, they scaled it again, and they got somewhere to $50 million or some crazy number like that. Anyway, increments, and then by year 7, the enterprise value was insane, and somebody wrote them the stupid check for $250 million. So success for you will happen incrementally, but the beautiful thing about that is the increments get exponential over time because of your momentum. But it won't happen tomorrow, but once you build the momentum, you start seeing jumps. That's why people jump from 350 to 600 in 1 year, because they start to get leverage and they start to get exponential growth, and you start and your deals start to beget deals. Your money starts to get more money. Your efforts start to multiply, and you give your assets legs, and they go out and get more assets. If you're in it works that way in investing. Once you get good at it, you learn how your money goes out and makes you more money. You see, and that's when you stop trading your time for money, and you start putting things in place that go out and grab you more money. That's how the game works. So we just went through step number 3. That was the 1 year goal. Okay, now here's the fun part. And don't forget, on the 1 year goal, I didn't go through that. Same departments: financial, fitness, family, fun. I want you to address all of those in each of these steps: year 5, year 3, year 1. And now here's the get real part. If I want to get to where I just said I'm going to get to in year 1, then what is it I need to start doing tomorrow morning? You see, 5, 3, 1 year, tomorrow morning. If I'm going to get to $250,000 by this time next year, how do I begin that process tomorrow morning? Now, if I work at the public library and I know that in year 1 I need to make $250,000 in order to get to year 5 to make $1 million a year, what's the first thing I need to do about my working at the public library. I need to start looking for a career that can get me to where I need to go and find my exit strategy out of this one. Does that make sense? You know, a lot of us really got these great big goals, and you won't get to $1 million in 5 years if you don't start doing something that leads you down that path starting today, starting tomorrow morning. Does that make sense? Okay, so you're going to begin this process now, but in order to keep you from getting frustrated in the process, you got to understand it's a process. It's a process. And if you just follow the process, you will absolutely get there. But along the way, you have to start taking the steps on the journey. The steps, a journey from here to the other side of the world begins with the first step. You can't get frustrated. If you're going to set out on a journey to go from Los Angeles to New York, and you take the first step tomorrow, you can't get frustrated that you're not at the Empire State Building by the weekend. It's a process. And like any process, you got to know where you're going so that you're taking the right steps to get there. I think Gary Keller says it in the book, The One Thing, which I'm going to give somebody. He says, he talks about something from, I think, a Dr. Seuss book where the guy goes, hey, so tell me which direction I should go. And the guy goes, well, where are you trying to get to? And he goes, well, I don't really care. And he goes, well, then it doesn't really matter which direction you go in. The fact is, you have to know where you're trying to get to. You have to know where you want to go in order to take the first step in the right direction. If you know you're not satisfied with working at the public library, and you know you want in 5 years to be $1 million a year earner, then you know you got to take some steps to get you there starting now. There's no time like the present. Time flies, especially if you misuse it or abuse it. So you're going to start by taking the first step tomorrow. Your 5-year goal, your 3-year goal, your 1-year goal, and your tomorrow morning goal. Objective. Priority. That's what you're going to do, and that's the best way to set goals as far as I'm concerned. And so Thanksgiving weekend is when I tell all of the people that I coach, this is the weekend to make it happen. So Thanksgiving weekend just ended. You still got time. It's still December. January's not here yet. You can still make your plan. And then what I suggest you do is build a vision board. Build a vision board so that you can put the most important things on that board, because here's the thing. We think in pictures. We think in visual. When you think of a door, you don't think of D-O-O-R. You think of a door, right? When I say book, you don't think in words. You don't think B-O-O-K spells book. You think of a book, right? A picture of a book. So vision boards are even more powerful than goals written down, because they help make the dream real. They help make things a little more realistic to you. So when I say dream in color, I mean literally in color. Like cut out a picture of that Lamborghini. Take a picture of that house at the beach. Put a picture of the Eiffel Tower if Europe is where you want to go. These things, they leave an imprint on the mind, and I think it's important that you give yourself a visual aid to help you remember where it is you're trying to go. You see, in order to stay motivated, in order to not get discouraged, you have to continue to remind yourself of where it is you're really trying to go. And if you don't, you'll get discouraged, you'll lose faith, you'll lose hope, you'll get down in the mouth because it's not going fast enough. But if you always know that you're on the path, if you always know that you're headed somewhere, then you can remain motivated. A lot of people say to me, well, Daron, how are you so motivated all the time? Why are you so pumped up all the time? It's because I know I'm on a journey and I know where I'm trying to get to. Am I there yet? Absolutely not. But am I on my way? Absolutely. And you are too. But you got to remind yourself that you're on this journey, you're on this quest. If you watch this show, you're on a mission. most of the people watching this show are trying to get somewhere. Everybody I know in the tribe and everybody I know that says, hey, nice show, every one of them, 100% of them is trying to get somewhere. I think there's some people out there that ain't trying to go anywhere, and they don't care. No big deal. I'm not mad at them. But everybody I know that seems to tune in here is trying to go somewhere pretty specific. And in order to get from here to there, you have to give yourself a roadmap. And that's pretty much what we're doing. All right, so don't forget now. Here we go. Before I take this break, I'm going to tell you about my giveaway. I'm going to give somebody this book, The One Thing, which I think is a brilliant book. It's very good for your planning purposes. But I want you to go on Road to a Million Show on YouTube. I want you to click like. I want you to click subscribe. And I want you to click that little bell that's going to ring every time I show up online to give you some new stuff. And then tell me who you are in the chat box. And I'm going to pick a name, or Marlon's going to pick a name, and we're going to send somebody this book, The One Thing by Gary Keller, which I think is brilliant and worth having. So we're going to go to a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk some more about goals and how to get your life on track for 2020. Come on. Isn't it about time? I'm Daron Campbell. I'm your real estate mentor. Let's do this together. We'll be back in 2 minutes.